What is going on, guys? This is the Oracle and we are back on MTGO for a new vintage cube draft video. Spec is, there's a mug, so cannot really complain. I'm gonna pick that. Most of the time it's gonna be a good first pick. I mean, some cards are better than that, obviously. I think, Soldering is clearly better. Black Lotus is almost always gonna be better. And there are decent, maybe not a decent amount, but a few cards I would pick over that, like Ancestral Recall and some other Power 9 cards. But Moxes are pretty safe first pick. Gideon's fine, though not that appealing. I think it's better in Legacy Cube. Sphinx is a nice one to tinker into, so that could be something. Daisy is a card I like more than most people, I think. Just think that card is great in Vintage Cube. Just does save you from a bunch of crazy start. Other than that, the pack is not so exciting, I think. So, yeah, pretty happy to pick the Mox Pearl, and we'll see where this leads us. Hmm. Nahiri is kind of sweet one to build around. I could also pick the Workshop and try to go super deep into the artifact deck. That could be funny. It's kind of hard to really draft a good artifact deck because everyone is interested in Signet, and most artifacts are really good, so sometimes you just don't end up with enough artifacts. So now I think here you have a choice between picking the Workshop and try to make it happen, even though it could not work out, and hopefully work something like Coercive Portal or maybe Signet or Pissing Needle, or pick the Nahiri and maybe build, just based white red control deck of some sort. Nahiri is kind of fun, but I think Workshop is much more funny if it does work out, and I really want to try to make that artifact dream happen one day, so yeah, I'll try that out. Survival is very strong, Reanimate is very strong. Dress I think is very good in Vintage Cube too. Those, Elish Narn kind of fine for the Reanimator deck, other than that, not too great. Ralzarek, not my favorite. Whisperwood is very good, I think, is in the green deck. I'm gonna pick Solemn Simulacrum, though. Very good card to work with, Workshop, and it's an artifact, and this is what I want to be doing. Basically, I'd be happy to have in any of my opening hand Workshop, Pearl, and Simulacrum. That's just a great start. And hopefully, yeah, we'll get some more artifacts. No artifact here. Unfortunate. Caracas is pretty great. I mean, it's pretty free to play that if you are white. Even if you are not white, it is kind of free, not really, but kind of. And then it's randomly gonna save you from a reanimated Grizzlebrand, Show and Tell the Miracle, a turn to Rufflos, which can be super threatening. It's just a pretty good card all in all. Other possibilities include, I think, Imperial Seal just because it's very good. Even though black is not the best color to pair up with artifacts, you'd rather be white, red, or blue than black or green. Wildfire is kind of nice, potentially, but I think it's likely to wheel. But if you have enough artifact acceleration, it's a sweet one. I'm gonna go with Caracas. I think that card is quite useful. Okay, well, only artifact here is Revoker, which is pretty mediocre, I think. Might just pick Hallowed Fountain. Could be, white-blue artifact based, or could even, if there aren't enough artifact, I could just be white-blue, control-y stuff, whatever. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think Revoker is appealing enough that I want to pick that over a good fixing. Pilgrim, one of the best cards here, I think. Brimaz is fine though, it's a bit too slow for Vintage Cube, I think. And again, I think I mentioned that in another draft, but I'm not a huge fan of mid-range creature in Vintage Cube. I think you either want to be super control-y and have some big finisher, or try to be combo and cheat some stuff into the battlefield. But mid-range creature, not exactly something you want to be doing, I think, in Vintage Cube at least. In Legacy Cube it's probably fine, but in Vintage Cube not that great. I do like Primal Hunter a lot, but obviously I'm not green. That pack is pretty interesting, I think. Because Tundra is just great fixing, but there's an Ors of Signet, which is, I'm likely to be white, so it's at least half on color Signet. I think I should actually pick that. I mean, picking Tundra here means abandon the workshop plan. Because if I want to make that work, I have to pick Signet. I have to. Tundra is such great fixing though. I'm gonna pick the Tundra. I can pull the trigger on picking a half on color Signet over, one of the best fixer in the whole game. Academy runes could be good if I'm, artifact and base blue. I've picked 5 lands so far. Funny enough, I guess 6 land kind of. Ooh, Elspeth Knight Errant is a very good planeswalker, I think. I read Mesa is kind of nice because it fetches Fountain and Tundra, but I think looking at that, I have a decent amount of lands and my mana base should be good, and Elspeth is just great. Ooh, Sphinx. Nice one to potentially tinker into, if I were to do that. And with the workshop and a black splash, it's something I could splash for too. I like Needle a decent amount. Yup. Okay, I guess Breeding Pool could be something. Wildfire Wield. Okay, so we have a good blue-white mana base, potentially. 2 artifact, a workshop, and Elspeth. Why did that wheel? That should not wheel. I'm gonna cut the naturalist. I think this could be really good against me. No one is playing green? What the hell? Alright, well, that's an interesting start, if nothing else. Some pretty powerful cards. And having a good mana base is pretty key in general, so. And the good news if you pick those early is that you can just fetch, not fetch, just focus on picking some good stuff then. Yeah, no one is trying to play the green deck. I mean, seeing those going that late is criminal. Okay. I have to pick Thran Dynamo here, I think. It's just a very, very good card, and it's very, very good with Workshop. It's a I mean, the turn 1 Moxper Workshop Thran Dynamo is kind of silly. If I could wield a Signet, that'd be great. Hangaback Walker would be a very nice one too, but I think it's Thran Dynamo pretty clearly. Yup. Alright, sweet. And hopefully we can wheel one of the 2 artifacts I mentioned. Upheaval. Yeah, I mean, you cannot do much better thing with a lot of mana than Upheaval. And I already have the fixing for the blue. So will most likely be some sort of blue-white artifact, control-y, combo-y deck, big mana Upheaval stuff. And Sphinx Rev is another card I like a lot, but I think it's actually great in this kind of shell where you have a bunch of mana. Same with Time Twister, so. But it's gonna be Upheaval there. Hopefully I can wheel one of the 2 cards I mentioned though. I like Compulsive with a bunch of card draw. Tangle Wire is kinda appealing, but I think it's just not really good enough. Polluted Delta does fetch land. I think it's between Tamio and Research though. An early Tamio can be pretty strong. I'm gonna go with Research though. Card draw spells are amazing indeed. I like having a no-ring effect in this kind of deck. Since I'm gonna be slightly control, Snapcaster is looking fine though not great right now. Grave Titan is great, but I'm not black. Mindslaver is a bit too much, I think. And it's certainly wheeling, and Moxchrome is pretty mediocre, I think. Gideon, another Planeswalker, not bad. Golgar is, yeah, it's off color though, but maybe I should be more focused on picking those mana. Ooh, Ancient Tomb, I like that a lot. I really like that a lot with everything I have. And Workshop might not work, but Ancient Tomb you can put that in any deck. Channel should probably not be here. Recruiter is great for Kiki Chiki. That deck is super great. I mean, Necromancy for the Reanimator, Channel for the green one, Recruiter for the Kiki Chiki player is just great. And Ancient Tomb for me. Ooh, Duplicant is looking pretty sweet. It's very good Dream Vault, works with Workshop. Pretty nice when you have a bunch of mana. Ojutai is sweet, but I think this is slightly better. And maybe if I pick a bunch of artifact pack 3, I can still make the workshop work, but that card is really hard to, make a good use of it, basically. For now, I think I will leave it in the sideboard. Deck's looking kinda sweet, though. I need some more Signet, but yeah, I think I'd be happy to trade that for the Horse of Signet we passed. I think that was a mispick. Yeah, Tundra is so appealing though, and since I will end up blue-white, it's still very good though. Deck's looking really really nice. If the Mindslaver wheels and I get more artifact, Academy Runes could be nice for the lock basically. Ooh, Simit Signet. Ah, it's close. I think it's the Enlightened Tutor though. I mean, I can fetch a Mox Pearl, I can fetch a No Ring, I can fetch a Strand Dynamo, I can fetch a Simulacrum, I can fetch a Duplicant. It's annoying, but I will miss those Signet. The Signet here did not wheel. We got the Walker though, which is pretty good. Sphinx Rev wheeled, super nice. Okay, now I should pick Signets over anything else. And maybe I should have picked them much earlier too, but well, whatever. Cloudskate or Mage, pretty much the same thing. I think Cloudskate is slightly better though. I think between Upheaval, the Mindslaver wheeled. Yeah. Now I'm kind of regretting not picking. I think there was at least one Signet that I could have picked of a Tundra. The other one, not so sure, but I certainly miss one Signet. So now I think a Signet is better than anything in my deck. Things like Coalition Relic, Warren Powerstone are also amazing. Yeah. How many artifacts do I have? Moxplore is not something you can cast off the workshop, so I currently 4, actually 5. 5 good artifact to power up with workshop. It's a bit light. Could see myself not adding any colored card in my deck though, if I get enough artifact next pack. Deck is looking kinda solid too. I mean, Upheaval is a great finisher. I have enough card draw spell because with a lot of acceleration, having a lot of card draw is also important. I just need some more acceleration actually. Signet are bread and butter for me right now. The Everflowing Chalice be amazing too. Yeah, Black Lotus. Gilded Lotus. This is a deck in which Gilded Lotus might almost be better than Black Lotus, but I don't think I can afford not to pick that. Elspeth, Sun Champion, and Gilded Lotus be amazing card to wield though, but they are not very likely to wheel. Ooh, Balance is super sweet card to play alongside a bunch of acceleration and a bunch of artifact. That's another super nice one. Alright, I like that a lot. Sweet. Yeah. I need some more Signet, but the deck is just shaping up very, very well. Unfortunately, there's nothing here. I think Blightsteel Colossus is a bit too much. Memory Jar could be something. I don't really need more fixing. Glen Elendra Archmage is just a very sick magic card though. It's probably my choice here. And whatever, the workshop is gonna be left in the sideboard, but that's fine. The pack is strong. Natural Order, Leviathan, Mystic. I think it's between Pentad Prism and Signet. I think it's the Signet. This deck is looking kinda silly. I mean, I could have some very, very, very dumb draws. With more Signet it would be a bit better, but it's still looking very good. How many packs are left for me to get some... 4 packs left to get some artifact acceleration, whatever that might be. Very, very fun. Blue-white artifact control. It's kind of blue-white control deck, but with broken stuff in it, which makes it most likely better. So Mindslaver lock with Academy Runes is 13 mana. I mean 12 mana plus the runes, right? That's a lot. But with a Thran Dynamo Workshop draw, it's something I could do. But I'm not sure that I'll be able to play the Workshop. But this is already 6. Yeah, that's kind of good. Tezzeret Tolarian Academy. Ugh. It's close. I will have quite a lot of artifacts, and most of them are fairly cheap. Tezzeret could wheel. I guess the Academy could wheel too. 8 artifact. It's probably Academy, honestly. Tezzeret is sweet though. Ooh, Trinket Mage? Sign me in. Gets my Mox Pearl, gets my Black Lotus, gets my Engabak Walker. Hell yeah. It's almost like adding an artifact to the deck, which is awesome. And I don't have a lot of 3, so it's really good. Lodestone Golem. Not sure that it's gonna be good enough, but on the other hand, I don't think there's any... I guess Moat could be something, but maybe Lodestone is good enough. Wonder if Workshop could be pretty degenerate depending on what I get. So I think it's probably good enough to add to the deck. And it's powering up 7 spells currently. Yawgmoth Will is a sweet card, Kiki Jiki too. No one are caring about those. And I will probably not get any more artifact acceleration, unfortunately. I'm gonna pick the Relic Warder. Decent sideboard option, pretty good against me, so. Banisher Priest is bad. I'm just gonna cut the bird. Scroll Rack I think is gonna be good enough here. I need some artifact, especially because of the Academy. It's not my favorite, but it's not a bad one. Think of the Steelwind. Well, I don't have any black. Well, I guess Rakdos Signet gave me a black. It's a bit too light though. Am I likely to hardcast a Blightsteel Colossus? I don't think so. I don't think so. Currently I have 21. Well, actually this is a land. I'm lacking playballs though, kind of. But Mishra Workshop almost work as a spell more than land, just because you cannot recast other spell of it. Not sure if it makes sense, but that's what I think. Can I splash for Tezzeret? Not really. I think I should just pick Pentad Prism. As a good one though. It's a really nice one. Not the best with Workshop obviously, but still a very good one. Deck is looking neat. I might just main deck Pissing Needle. First I can fetch it with the Trinket Mage. Second it's rarely gonna be super dead actually, I think, in Vintage Cube, so yeah, might be something. Yulamog. If I were to cast something like that, it's probably gonna be Blightsteel Colossus before Yulamog. Well, I wasn't able to pick here or to choose. I got the Yulamog, fine. Fine. Probably not playing him though. Okay, so that's gonna be the deck, I think. Just removing the War Priest, and I guess it's gonna be fairly heavy on mana, but I think it's fine. I can cheat on mana a lot. I think between the Tomb, the Academy, and the Workshop, I can have some really silly draws. Needle is also kind of nice potentially for the Academy. Like if it could accelerate me a bit, if nothing else. You can play that just as a, you know, if you have Academy discounts pretty much as a 1 mana Mox Sapphire, which is not the worst at all. Deck is looking super funny. And locking out the opponent with Mind Slaver could be a nice one to pull off. Alright, I like that a lot. Not gonna lie. 5/5. I have more white than blue. I guess I have Mox Pearl here though. but I have a Tolarian Academy, but a Caracas. All in all, I should not really have many mana issues between Tundra and Hallowed Fountain. I would be happy to have to trim the Tundra for in a North of Signet though. I would be happy to do that. Still need a bit of blue for my Sphinx Rev, my Cloud Skate, my Archmage. Yeah. Alright. This deck is looking super funny and way different than everything I've been playing recently. Just gonna count the amount of thing I can cast with my workshop. 8. It's still 8. I guess Needle does count. Don't really want to cast Pentat Prism. 8 is probably enough. Alright, I'm gonna submit that. Deck looks super funny. And it's clearly different from everything I've been playing recently. And balance looks great in that deck, which I really like. Tutor looks great. Trinket Mage looks great. Just looks quite solid in general. Alright, sweet. Hope you guys enjoyed the draft. If you did, feel free to leave a like. You can also subscribe. Feel free to share that video too. And I see you for round 1 in a few minutes.